Hi, this is Dayanathi, Assistant Professor at Department of Business Administration from K.C.S. Nadar College of Arts and Science. Today we can go for e-content for a research methodology for final year BBA students. Let's go for the class. Research. Research. Repeatedly doing to search is called a research. A research is a scientific and systematic search for a relevant information on a specific topic, or it is a carefully investigation or inquiry specially for exploring idea and searching a new facts about any kind of knowledge. It is a fact of art of a investigation. A research methodology. It is a way to systematically solve a research problem. It may be understood as a science of studying how a research is scientifically done, how we find out about the things, and how knowledge is gained. In it, we study the various steps which are generally adopted by the researchers while studying a research problem along with the logic behind them. In other words, a methodology is about the principles that guide our research practice. So, scientific research must be organized and undergone planning, including performing literature reviews of the past research and evaluating what questions need to be answered. So, research method. A research method refers to the behavior and instruments used for selecting and consisting research techniques. This might be, for example, survey, interview, and photo voice, and participate and observation. So, these examples are survey, interview, photo voice, participant, and observations. A collection of data. A data may be a collections of data may be a primary data and a secondary data. So the research method may be understood as all those methods or techniques that used to conductions of a research. So research techniques refers to the behavior and instruments which we use to perform a research operations such as making observation, recording data, and techniques of the processing data and like. The objectives of the research. Each research study has its own specific objectives, while some of the general objectives of the research are mentioned below. To gain a familiarity and achieve a new insight towards a certain topic, a plurality on an accurate and characteristics of phenomena, verify and test important fact and its hypothesis, to analyze an event and process and phenomena, to identify the cause and its effective relationship, to find a solution to scientific and non-scientific and social problems, to determine the frequency and the sum occurs. This is our objectives of the research. Types of research may be a descriptive research, analytical research, applied research, fundamental research, quantitative research, and qualitative research, and conceptual research, and empirical research. Let's go for descriptive research. It is also known as a statistical research. The descriptive research involves the survey and facts and finding inquiries of different kind. The major purpose of descriptive research is a descriptions on a state of affairs and is exist at present. For example, finding a most frequent disease that affect the children of a town. The reader of the research will know what to do to prevent the disease, thus more people will live a healthy life. Nextly, for analytical research, this research has to be used to facts or information of already available and analyze this used to make a critical evaluations of the material. Let's see for applied research. It aims to find immediate solutions for problem facing a society and industrial organization. For examples, applied researchers may investigate a way to improve the agricultural crop of production and treat or cure specific disease, improve the energy efficiency of homes, office, and modes of transportation. Then fundamental research. The basic research is driven by the scientist, the gathering knowledge of the knowledge to shake the invest something. For example, how did the universe begin? What are protons, neutrons, electrons, compounds of? What is the specific genetic code of the fruits file? A quantitative research This kind of research is used to qualify the problem by way of generating numerical data. The data can be transformed into usable statistics. A qualitative data collections method include various forms of survey, long- longitude studies, and systematical observations. The qualitative research. The qualitative research is used to gain an understanding of underlying the reason, opinion, and motivations. The example, the size is a typically small and respondents are selected to fulfill the give the quota. Then conceptual research. The conceptual research is a focus on a concept that or the theory that explains or that describes the phenomena being studied. For example, what causes disease? How can we describe the mention of the planet? What are the building blocks of matter? So, approaches of the research, the qualitative approach and quantitative approach. Significance of the research. The research indicates the scientific and indicative thinking and promotes the development of logical habit of thinking and organization. The research plays a dynamic role in various fields. It is increased significance in recent time. It can be relevant to small business and also with economic access whole. The most of the government regulations and policies are based on result as investigative research. It is a significance lies on the solving various problem, planning and operational problems. It aids in decision making. It study the cause and effective relationship between the various and also identify the pattern, behavior and trend in certain variables. The process of the research. It consists of all the logical sequence of the actions and mentioned methods which are necessary to effectively solve the research problem. The thesis process are defining or formulating research problem, executive literature review, formulating hypothesis, design research or determining the sample design, collecting data, analyzing the data, and interpreting that and the report. Defining or formulating the research problem. The researcher must choose the problem he wants to study and decide the area of interest and the subject matter he would inquire about. This are especially two steps are formulating of research problem. Therefore, understanding the problem thoroughly and rephrasing the same into the meaningful terms in an analytical point of view. Extensive literature review. After formulating the research problem, a brief summary should be written down. At this point of researcher should understand the literature of survey conducted with literature. This survey this summary of literature survey should based on two types of literature. Number one, the conceptual literature confronting the concepts of theories and the empirical literatures consisting the studies made yearly which are similar to one proceed. Formulating hypothesis. According to hypothesis must be stand in clear term. The following are the approaches which are involved in developing a working hypothesis by finding the origins of the problem and studying its objectives, by discussing the problem to college and experts, by examining the past data and records, by review the similar studies and similar problem. Determining the sample design. The sample design is a defined plan determined before any data it actually collected for obtaining the sample from given population. Samples can be either probability sample or non-probability samples. The researcher must carefully choose the sampling procedures, sample size, and look out the sample error. Collecting data. The data may be a primary data or secondary data. Okay. Let's see about that. This is need of reliable and accurate data to carry out an effective research. The collections of data may be done by any of the following. Number one, by observation, by personal interview, by telephonic interview, by questionnaire, by schedule. Let's see about the observation. The observation is a data collected into way of investigators own observation without any interview respondent. A personal interview, the data is carried out in such a way depend on the ability of the interviewer in a large extent. By telephonic interview, the collecting information involves conducting of response of the telephonic itself, the questionnaire, by mail to the respondent with a request to return the same after completing. By schedule, by filling the schedule by enumerate with the replies given in response. Analyzing data or hypothesis testing. After collecting the data, researchers turns to task the analyzing the data. The analyzing involves a different techniques to be clarified the raw data into meaningful and purposefully categories. Coding, editing, tabulation, coding, transforming the data into symbols, editing, improving the quality of data into coding, tabulations, the data put into form of tables. After analyzing the data, the researchers test the hypothesis that he formulated earlier in his research. Interpretations and generalizations. The result of hypothesis may be favorable or unfavorable. The researchers research at the generalizations based on the result of testing hypothesis, therefore to be built a theory. If the researchers had no hypothesis at the start, so he might seek explain his findings on basis of some theory. It is known as interpretations. In the process of interpretation often the triggers often new questions which leads to more research. A preparation of the report. Finally, the researchers has prepared the report what has been done by them. The layout of the report should be as follows. The preliminary pages. The report must have fulfilled the title. Full the title, foreword and acknowledgement in the primary page. Number 2, the main text. The main text of the report must have an introduction, summary of findings, and main report and its conclusion. End of the report. The end of the report must have the applicant with the respect to all the terms and data used in the report and end with the bibliography. The criteria of the good research. The purpose of the research should be clearly defined as a common concept used. The procedure of the research should be well described in detail permit of the research. The design should be aimed to results that are objective. The researchers must be reported completely with frankness and is false. The analyzing of the data must be adequate and analysis procedure must be approximate. The conclusions must be detailed in those justified with the data and limited those for which data is not adequate. The researchers must be experienced as a good reputation and his persons in integrity. A quality of the good research. It should be a systematic. It should be a logical. It should be empirical. It should be a reasonable. So it should be systematic. The researchers must be structured with the specific steps in specific sequence and according to the well-defined set of rules. It should be logical. The researchers must based on logical reasoning and logical process of indications and identification. It should be empirical. The researchers must be related in one or more aspects of life, real life situations. It should be replaceable. Recaseable. A people must be able to verify and is replicate the original report of the research. What is a bibliography? Okay, a bibliography is a list of all the sources of you have used, whether referenced or not. In the process of researching you work. In generally, the bibliography should be indicates the author names, the title of the work, the names and locations of the companies that published your copies of source, the data your copy were published, the page number of your source if or you are part of multi-source volumes. So thank you for watching this video. Have a wonderful day.